What's going on, guys? It's Adam P, and welcome back to more Newcastle United transfer news. Last full day of the transfer window today, and already it's not even 10 a.m. when I'm recording this video. Already it has gotten off to a mental start. Yoane Wissa, 4 public statements. It's actually 4 different Instagram stories. That's how much he has to say about his current situation at Brentford. We're not even reached anywhere near 12 o'clock yet. And one of the 2 players who has informed their clubs this weekend they want to join Newcastle United already is making public statements. It's done in Isak. In fact, there's actually more Yoane Wissa statements out today than Brentford has points this season. That's how many statements are out. It's crazy. And I can't speak about points because it's heavily disrupted us. 2 points for Newcastle. We're in the bottom three and don't deserve to be anywhere near there. We should actually be top. I generally think we could have 9 points so far. We'll mention Isak in a bit. Just before we get into Yoane Wissa's statement, if you guys are new around here, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button. 2 massive days of the transfer window. I'm expecting a lot of activity during the day. Double, triple, I don't know how many videos it will be, but we will be back on later on today. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. As for the statements in Yoane Wissa, over the past few weeks, there has been increased speculation about my future at Brentford. As a result, I wanted to speak directly and honestly about exactly where things stand. I have stayed silent for much of the summer, but with just hours remaining of the transfer window, I feel complied, make it clear that I want to leave Brentford. I believe the club are unduly stand in my way despite a series of fair offers throughout the summer. I've always given 100% to Brentford since the day I signed back in 2021. I am proud of what we have built together and have never taken the opportunity to play for the club for granted. Brentford fans, and he actually goes into a lot of detail about Brentford fans. He speaks well about his career, but he actually mentions a conversation. So earlier this summer, I held open discussions with the club's senior management, including key directors and a new head coach. I made clear my intention to explore a new challenge. During these conversations, it was confirmed to me and my representatives that the club would not stand in their way if a reasonable offer was received. That was also put in writing. Based on this understanding, I sought to find a new club, keeping Brentford informed with fully transparent every step. And before we even talked about something, by the way, Brentford, of course, received a formal offer from our Premier League club, and he's communicated that he wants to join Newcastle now. Which has actually stated on the record here, he has written documents that state Brentford would allow the player to leave this summer if a good offer comes in for him. Isak, take notes, by the way. His agent has actually done what he's supposed to do and has got everything that's been said from Brentford in written paper, which, I mean, by law, he could use against Brentford. I'm assuming if he actually has the correct information, but what he has claimed here is that he does have that information. I was under the impression all my conversations with Brentford, there was mutual agreements to part way. Yeah, as the window comes to an end, the club has now significantly changed its position, going against what was communicated. This has left me in a difficult and frustrating position. The commitment that I could leave this summer has not been fulfilled. It saddens me to have write that, but I maintain total respect for the club and its fans. I want to make it clear that I have not acted unprofessionally, nor do I not wish to leave Brentford on bad terms. I've been transparent throughout. I've continued to communicate openly with the club and conduct myself in a way that reflects my values both for football and a human being. I remain hopeful that a fair and reasonable resolution can be found before the transfer window shuts. In the meantime, I must do what I feel is right for my career and family and insist that Brentford honour their word to let me join a new club and at a fair price. I want to thank all the Brentford fans for their support and understanding during this difficult situation. Your energy and belief in me has always meant a great deal. This has never been about walking away from what is a fantastic football club. It's about being allowed to move forward. Brentford's blessed based on a repeated communication made that I could leave for a new chapter this summer. Being made to stay beyond this summer will only tarnish 4 wonderful years at this incredible club. So I asked Brentford's owners and director to now keep their word and let me leave in the final hours of the window. Wow, a lot to get into there. I've never ever agreed with these players putting these statements out to put additional pressure on the clubs. But to be fair, was that a lot better than Isak's statement? 100% it was. He actually acknowledged the fans and actually spoke well about the football club he's playing for. Isak, one half-hour statement just after the PFA Awards when he's not there getting his award. That was almost, I guess, a malicious message from Isak. Whereas this one, they're kind of both the same message of two players wanting to leave the football club, two players claiming that both clubs have taught them lies, essentially. But Wissa always seems to come across a lot better than Isak. And this is the same Wissa, by the way, who's actually been deleting his Instagram photos, deleting his cover photo, and actually unfollowing Brentford on his Instagram in the first place. So I wouldn't really say Wissa has been a wonderful, lovely guy during the entire thing, because that one felt a bit hurtful towards the Brentford fans. But that actual statement there is probably about as best as you could have done if you were to do a statement like that. And there's a lot of interesting points to take away from it. And the big one was just mentioned before, which is the fact that he's claimed that in written paper he has confirmation that Brentford has taught him he could leave this summer if a decent offer comes in for him. So I'm not sure what you do with that if the transfer window closes and he doesn't leave. But the reason why this statement's been sparked today anyway, because the likes of Craig Cook stated that Brentford actually wants £65 million now for Wissa. So not just the original £60 million, because they haven't signed that striker. They've actually bumped the money further up. It's a literal goalpost move just to prove to Newcastle and to prove to all these other teams that a sale would not be met this summer. They aren't going to sell him at all without that striker coming in. They tried to get BR from Dortmund. Didn't happen. And it looks like now Brentford is not prepared to sign another striker, which means Wissa, you're staying here is the message. Clearly the player's not happy with that. Clearly the player is going to fight against that, and it's one where probably mentioned the second striker, yeah, but that's a player that wants to join Newcastle. He's made it clear he desperately wants to join Newcastle. He's got 4 different bloody statements on the situation, so he clearly does want to join Newcastle. We'll see what happens, but I still reckon this is the harder out of the two strikers to sign. Brentford just don't seem accepted to letting the player go. But I'm intrigued to see if they change their stance after what has been quite a strong but decent statement. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually think that statement was all right. I thought it was good towards the fans, just a player that clearly wants to go somewhere else. But going on top of Strand Larson now, a player who seems more open to moving due to the fact that Wolves have actually replaced Strand Larson, so they've already got a striker in there if he was to leave this window. Seems more realistic. If one was going to happen, I would still bank on this one happening at the minute. But I actually think all possibilities are open. I think anything could happen, and I seriously mean anything. I actually think Isak still will not 100% leave this summer. I actually still think Newcastle could be prepared to seriously keep a hold of him. I'll explain why shortly. But any signing now, Strand Larson, a Wissa signing someone else, all these players, that one of them coming in, that would mean Isak's out. Isak would go after that if that deal does happen. However, Newcastle still may not pull it off. Wolves are going to be firm as well. Both of these teams you're talking about, relegation battling sides, both teams lost yesterday due to the fact that their players, of course, were on strike. And again, we all know about that. But both of their players weren't playing yesterday and both teams lost as a result. It's clearly affecting their seasons as well. And when you look at the current situation, Larson seems to be a bit more relaxed than Wissa. Seems to be more willing to actually stick with Wolves if they are prepared just to go all the way and they'll give a 100% answer to him not leaving. We shall see what happens. But again with Larson, big day and a half, big moments. We're going to see whether either player can come into Newcastle. But yeah, it's been a bit of a mental start to the day. And speaking of the strikers, of course, I've got to go back to Alexander Isak. Isak was the chant from Newcastle fans yesterday. Extremely volatile and boisterous fan support. And you can't blame those supporters, by the way. We have honestly dropped 7 points because of him. I'm not even joking. We actually could be top of the table now. We really could have got 9 points then. We've got 2. We've got 2 to show for. 7 points. I can accept one game, you're dropping a couple of points because of the situation. Fair enough. 7 points is season changing. That honestly is season changing. Already, 3 games into the season, 7 points gone just like that. Those 7 points are huge. That you talk about the end of the season, I hope 1 or 2 points to make a difference. 7 points is making a difference. That is a serious change in amount of points. So the fact we haven't got those points and the fact it's down to the current striker situation, that is a real concern and that is a real problem. So Newcastle needs to be able to sort this out and just come to a resolution. But even then, Isak, to the likes of Lee Ryder, still prepared to keep a hold of him. They're not 100% willing to let him go. And the main reason for that is if Liverpool is not prepared to put serious money down, and you actually look at the amount Liverpool is willing to put down, sounds like they're going to stick with the amount they put down last month, that £120 million mark. They're not prepared to go above that. And that straight away, I can't ever see Newcastle accept 120. That was what we were offered last month. We could have sought them last month for that amount, played the games, for new strikers in. We could have had all this noise out of the way and wouldn't have dropped those points of result. We wouldn't then sell for the same amount. Of course, we wouldn't. And Liverpool, I feel like in a Liverpool point of view, they might have actually looked at Ekitike this season, realised how good Hugo Ekitike is, and they might have actually changed their mind. They might have just went, well, you know what? We're happy with this kid now. We don't want to disrupt his career. You have a great time up front for Liverpool. Let's not change that. Let's get Isak a different time. And I actually think in a Liverpool point of view, maybe they have just decided that he's not worth it. Maybe we've decided that the money's too high. We're going to come at a different time. We'll let him and we'll let Newcastle deal with his major problem this season, which is going to disrupt our season even further. We don't need to do this. And I actually think, a Liverpool point of view, why are they going to put more than 130 down? And Newcastle's just not going to accept unless it's more than 130. So I got a real crossroad now where one team isn't prepared to spend a lot of money. Well, I say a lot of money. Obviously, it's a lot of money, but they're not prepared to spend the money that Newcastle actually wants. And then you got Newcastle, a team that is just not prepared to let him go, even despite his, disgraceful behaviour. And we'll see what happens next. But I've always been a bit of a flip-flop, in my opinion, during this saga, because a couple of days ago, Nick Watermeyer comes in. I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, let Isak go. Second striker, let's let the guy go. I got the Leeds game yesterday, and I see those players again struggle on the pitch without him. I see the negative noise, and I'm almost kind of like, let's stick it to this guy. This guy's done us dirty. Let's stick it to him, and let's force him to come back in, and let's almost ruin his career now. It's kind of like one of them ones where I'm constantly flipping and going back and forth on what my actual opinion is. It's a hard choice. It is a hard choice, and I think the actual 4-4-2, it could, if you somehow were to able to pull that Milko off and get Isak back in. You're talking Isak and Woutame and a front two. I mean, how disgustingly good would that front two be? And that's kind of like almost my dream scenario, but that's just a dream. I still don't see it being realistic. So when you look at the situation now, it's volatile, it's hostile, and Newcastle has to be careful and they have to make that choice. But if Liverpool doesn't put the money down that we won, can you let him go to Liverpool? I don't think we can. I think the money has to be right for Newcastle. I'm not expecting the 150 million down, but it has to be 130 million plus, in my opinion. It really has to be. And Newcastle needs to maximise the profit now. And if you were to do your unthinkable and then keeping the January or next summer, would a different team offer similar-ish money? I still feel like a team would put 100 million down next summer. I still think you would. I still think you have good value. I don't think his value would drop too much, but again, it depends on what happens. It honestly depends on what happens this season. It's just not enough. Liverpool's 120 is just not enough. It has to be more money, and I'm saying that without respect to Liverpool fans as well. You guys put more money down. I'm telling you now, 135 plus you're getting him. I think you are getting him this summer. But is Liverpool prepared to do that? Currently doesn't sound like it is, but maybe a smokescreen. Could be a smokescreen. Liverpool just lining it up. They're going last minute, big offer, get him out of Newcastle, and maybe trying to do that. But we'll see as time progresses anyway. Take care, guys. Appreciate you watching. Let me know your opinions down below. Of course, be back later on today whenever there's transfer news, but no one today. That's going to happen quite a lot. But take care, and we'll see you all in the next one.